Welcome to another episode of Skyrocketing Your Lead Generation Online, your masterclass series on how to fill your sales pipeline with a consistent stream of high-paying clients. Your straight-up resource for actionable advice and mindset shifts that will take you one step closer to generating consistent leads online into your business. I'm your host, Anjana Lal, business strategist specializing in LinkedIn lead generation, and today we have Juliet Tang. Juliet is a business mentor and consciousness activator. She supports visionary service-based entrepreneurs to create the income and impact they desire with ease and flow. Her work combines the three pillars of success: self, spirit, and strategies. She is passionate about bridging money, marketing, and sales strategies with practices to elevate consciousness so that her clients can step into the thought leadership role that they are destined for while scaling their online empires. Not only is Juliet an amazing client of mine, but she's also a great friend. I love Juliet's work, and I think her gifts are so transformational. She literally speaks into your heart and soul, and I'm so happy to have her here. So thank you so much for joining me, Juliet. It's so nice to see you again.
Thank you, Anne. Just such a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me on.
So today we're going to be talking about organic content marketing that converts to sales. But before we dive into that conversation, would you be able to share a little bit about your journey and story and how you got started doing what you're doing today?
Absolutely. So I'm going to say that my business has evolved as I've evolved. So I've literally worked with different groups of audience and in different niches. Currently, I feel that I am finally able to combine the best of both worlds, which is business money marketing with that soulful and that self-awareness aspect of who we are. And I kind of feel like, especially given what's going on right now, this is what the new paradigm is inviting all of us to step into, that we're not just building businesses, we're not just solely working with strategies, thinking purely profit, but also thinking about our planet, thinking about humanity, and coming from more of like a more wholeness-based foundation, in terms of making money, in terms of influencing each other. So this is the latest version of my business. And I feel like this is the part where I've been able to like integrate all aspects of who I am and different areas of my expertise into this one kind of like vessel that allows me to be fully self-expressed while helping people live fuller lives.
Yeah, I love the soulful aspect of business. And you speak to your clients a lot about the three pillars of sovereign wealth. Can you tell us a little bit about each one?
Absolutely. So the three pillars are self, spirit, and strategies. If we spoke, even if it's just like a couple of years ago, I was all about strategies. I was all about, marketing funnels. Give me one more like 6, 7
Mm,
formula to success. I just
yeah.
want to get there. I then added self and spirit because I realized as holistic beings, we cannot separate our business and income growth from who we are and from what our bigger purpose or mission is. And self has to do with our level of self awareness, which really, when you think about it, plays a huge role in our income and marketing, which is also knowing like what our unique genius or our unfair advantage is and being able to bring our expression, experience, and expertise into our client attraction process and also creating like a super aligned offer for them. So spirit goes a little bit deeper and it has to do with understanding our role on earth right now. And some people call it our bigger purpose or our mission. So what I've found out over the years is that for conscious, high performing entrepreneurs, our businesses are not just here to generate tons of money and success for us so that we can have the lifestyle and the pension and the mansion in Italy, or like going on these shopping sprees in Paris. All of these are great, you know.
Yeah.
Our businesses are also the vessels that really support humanity and earth. We support change in an area or a system in humanity that is not supporting us right now, whether it's the healthcare system or relationships or our economy or money. So we're in business because there is a part of us that has chosen to play a role at this specific time to help other people live fuller lives. So when we
Yeah.
add this dimension to our offer and our messaging and our sales, we actually automatically just become more magnetic and more visible to our highest level ideal clients, because we're speaking from the place of not just our brain, but also our heart and our soul. So altogether, these three pillars, self, spirit, and strategies, actually completes a very holistic high income business model that I use and I teach to clients.
Absolutely. And I've seen your work, like I've seen your written work and how it speaks so deeply and profoundly into the heart and soul of your clients and, your audience as well. And I think, like you mentioned, it's so important to realize that your business is not a separate entity from yourself, right?
Yeah.
It's part of you, and it's actually a good thing to be able to bring your whole self into your business and not treat it like
Yes.
not because you and I, right, we're the A-type personality. That's our background.
Yeah.
We're like, we were all about systems and structures, and I'm the same way coming from 20 years of corporate. It was just like, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? And it was just,
Yeah.
like your soul fades and you lose purpose. And so
Yeah.
super important to just look at that whole dimension and go, the humanity side of things, being coming from a place of service, and your clients are truly attracted to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So when it comes to organic marketing, what are some of the essentials for reaching those high-end clients?
So basically, what I feel is that, it is definitely important it is important to work with aligned structure and strategies. But
Yeah.
I also want to bring, I want to bring in one aspect that is not often talked about,
Mm.
which is energy. So part of my expertise is actually, I am the realm of energy and embodiment. I
Yeah.
feel like strategies are actually easy because when we teach strategies, we can easily teach that in a VIP day or in a short session. But
Yes.
teaching entrepreneurs how to really energetically align with what they're broadcasting actually takes time.
Yeah.
So, and I'm just going to share a technique here. One technique that I use with clients is that, I have them do like either light breath work, movement, or something pleasurable
Yeah.
that's to the body before creating and posting anything, because what that does is that it actually activates the magnetism that's in the body.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, our mind just creates about 2% of this reality anyway, because our mind is just, like it's kind of like the tip of the iceberg versus the body is 98%. So when we can combine something, like when we can combine energy and
Mhm.
strategy, we are actually our reach goes so much deeper. And I have done this analysis on my own posts. Whenever I do this before, whenever I have this intention, form an intention and really align my energy with this intention, not just in my mind, but whole bodily, and then I go ahead and create and publish a post, it actually gets all of the engagement from the right people, versus if I'm just like going, oh, what am I going to post today? Am I going to write something? Hopefully I'm going to land the right people. That actually does not go far. So it is all about actually, again, coming from a holistic based business model, which is combining the feminine and the masculine aspects
Yeah.
of creation, of like, we allow ourselves to be self-expressed in our genius. We allow our expertise to come out, but at the same time also have an aligned structure that, that whether it is like a series of templates that we can use when it comes to posting, or something that is more specific. So this way our message actually consists both the feminine and masculine aspects.
Yeah.
And I find this is one of the ways that I've been able to really attract
Mhm.
my highest level clients to me. And I think that people can really sense the energy behind your words, especially these days when discernment is super high. So that's just one
Yeah.
way.
I couldn't agree with you more. Like that, a lot of the times that feminine energy, especially as women entrepreneurs, we have that as an advantage to really embrace that feminine energy into our business. And I think rather than shying away from it, like embrace it and really
Yep.
show up and reflect, allow it to sort of, be a reflection into your business in terms of your messaging. And, I think, as you mentioned, the energy side of things and just being, priming your mind and your heart and your soul before you start writing any content is super important. And often it's the missing link. People just
Yeah,
kind of go,
it
I need to
is.
get this piece out. I need to sit, I need to write my emails. But unless you're in the right headspace and heart space, you
Yeah.
don't, those words don't come easily, and it just doesn't flow. So that ease and flow in alignment with that energy that you speak about is super, super powerful.
Yeah, it also puts us into the next level consciousness where it opens up possibilities. Because when we're stuck in a mind space and when we're stuck in, let's say, and I've worked with a lot of gurus, I've worked with multiple seven-figure global entrepreneurs and
Mhm.
marketers. So, like, I know the strategies and tactics pretty much from the inside out. And for a while, they really worked for me. But it got to the point where it started to feel dry, and I started to really not enjoy the work that I was doing. And it started feeling very rigid. I would show up, I would be like, okay, let me schedule this post. I would say this, this is the formula. And it was no longer really honoring where I wanted to go
Yeah.
and what like the bigger expression and like the bigger part of our genius is. So I was
Mhm.
able to create a system in which we do honor that masculine aspect of structure and strategies, but also really infuse more of that feminine flow into it.
Yeah.
So that's the magnetism part. And that is, at the end of the day, it's not about chasing after clients. It's actually about magnetizing people, opportunities, and clients to us.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, you and I have worked on this together as well as independently within our businesses. What advice can you give our listeners when it comes to, like speaking deeper into that, like when it comes to attracting those your most ideal clients, the right clients?
Absolutely. So this part is probably, I'm going to speak very strategically on this part.
Hmm.
I would say the first thing is to name the top 3 clients that you've had the most fun and success working with, and literally just create a profile around that type of, around that type of clients, because I like to work a lot around clarity. What
Mm.
I find out is that I work with more experienced entrepreneurs, coaches, mentors, consultants, and I find that when they come to me, they're still missing that clarity piece. So
Yeah.
if I ask questions like, who are these people? Where do they hang out both in person and online? What made them make the decision to buy from you without hesitation? What made them ready? And why did they have so much success working with you?
Mm.
Oftentimes, there is lack clarity in that. And I find when it comes to client attraction, of course, we work with energy and strategies, but we need to have that clarity first as to who these people are and how we can speak to them and how we can attract them. So
Yeah.
once we have this level of clarity, which is not just the demographics, like, oh, the age group, the income level, but also their mindset, energy, and consciousness, like who they are as an energetic being, we can then create the most magnetic and aligned offer for them, as well as our organic marketing campaign around this client profile.
Yeah.
So when we have all of these things, I will say, like also showing up where these people are. Maybe they are in virtual networking groups, maybe Facebook groups, maybe they're on your friends list, maybe they're on a certain podcast. So wherever they are, the next step is really just to have conversations. And again, a lot of entrepreneurs have this misconception that I'm going to reach out to them and I'm just to sell to them right away. And it works for some people, but
Oh,
actually the purpose in the very beginning isn't to sell or to pitch to someone, but to actually engage with someone and build relationships. Because again, sales happen through connections and engagement. And there needs to be that level of trust. I would say even like Scott Oldford, one of the multi-million-dollar mentors of my mentor, he always talks about relevancy, intimacy, and connection, right? Those components are super, super important, because if we come off super salesy in our message, in our offer, in anything, in the way that we show up, people automatically pick up on that. And then they're going to feel that, you're probably not sincere enough and you're desperate. So in a way, we make it way, way, way too hard when we can just allow ourselves to have more fun in a way that we show up and have more of that, embody more of that ease and flow, with the sincere intention that, what, I am being of service by offering this content, and I would love to build some relationships today just to see, how we can have that connection and magnetize these people in and magnetize the opportunities. And I feel like that is a low pressure type of way to
mhm.
attract clients versus, like the high pressure way of like every single day I need to get people on the sales conversation. That can show, that can really show in the energy, in the energy department in our messaging.
And it's overwhelming even for yourself, right? Because when you
Yeah.
operate from that place of desperation and just like, okay, numbers, it's uninspiring, and it puts pressure. It takes the fun away from being in business.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. And I've been down that road before. You probably have too. There's just a lot of pressure. And when we're operating from pressure, we're actually not operating from our highest level, which means we're not radiating the highest level out, which means we're not drawing in the highest level people. So it all works. And again, like this is a giving and receiving process.
Yeah.
So being very aware of where we're operating from and what consciousness we're plugged into really, really, really matters when it comes to client attraction.
Yeah, and that giving and taking process like is something that, you know, people just kind of, I mean, we tend to want to give more or take more, you know.
Yeah.
It needs to be balanced. I mean, that's one thing that definitely has to be balanced. So let's talk a little bit about mindset, especially when it comes to high ticket offers, which I know you're an advocate for. What are some of the roadblocks that you're finding that keep a business from aligning themselves with high end to enjoy those multiple five-figure months that you can help your clients achieve?
So I feel one roadblock is not owning our expertise and value because I was in that space for years, and this was after having had tons of trainings and at the time having invested like 50K in mentorship, working with the best of the
Mhm.
best, and there were raving results from clients. So I kept on coming from the identity of someone who who's still not good enough yet, who is still learning more, who is obviously secretly comparing herself to all the multiple seven-figure mentors that I was having. And it was like, oh, they're there and I'm still here. So
Mhm.
if they're selling to the same clients, obviously I'm not good enough to be selling at that level yet. So I felt very shaky at the time with raising my price. And I find these days, I'm grateful that I went through that, because these days I see this in clients all the time, that they're just not owning their expertise. I've
Yeah.
recently, one of my clients is someone who's been in business for like 5 years, and he was just not generating enough income because he was charging something like $500 for like a 2 month program or like a 3 month program. So
Yeah.
that is a really common roadblock. And
Yeah.
another is working with misaligned business model and strategies. So that's when, and again, I've been there, that's when we only place all the emphasis on, especially being type A. I need to get the next level formula. I need to get the next level funnel. I need all of that. Give me more of that strategy.
Mhm.
Give me more. All of that are great, but working with only those aspects that are external without actually coming back again, checking in with the body, checking in with the internal, which are the two pillars, the self and spirit,
Yeah.
to see how these strategies land in our body with our energy,
Yeah.
whether they are actually supporting our desire and expansion or limiting it. So, checking in with the self helps us anchored in what is aligned and true for us. So if we don't do that, and I didn't do that for a while, that leads to burnouts really, really fast. So it kind of gets to the place where like I'm just secretly resenting what I'm doing, and
Yeah.
all of that resistance is showing up in self-sabotage. So maybe like one day I'm just doing a launch, but then I'm too tired, so I'm not even enrolling clients into the offer. Another day, maybe there's a mysterious health problem that comes up that, I need to take care of myself for a whole week. All of these are self-sabotaging patterns
Yeah.
that can be prevented if we just build a sustainable business that is profitable, but also allows us to operate from a place where it feels true and aligned and in flow with us.
Yeah.
So in that sense, that is a roadblock that I've seen again in a lot of entrepreneurs, where maybe in a short run they do create big cash injections like 40K months, because
Yeah.
all of a sudden all the automation, all the strategies, were like so excited, but it's not sustainable. And in the long run, we actually end up losing money, health, and possibly intimate relationships over this if we don't realign from the inside out.
Absolutely, because something's got to give. And when it comes to that organic marketing, like, what is your secret sauce in coaching your clients for being able to dial in those high paying clients?
So for me, it's really I help clients build structure, business model, and aligned strategies actually around their expansion. So for me, it's about having the feminine, diving into the feminine first, which is what is their truest desire, like not their mentor's desire on, I want a multiple seven-figure business in 2 years, I'm going to work my ass off, or buying that, that racing car.
Yep.
We get that super clarity on what their true desire is, what their vision is. We get to really dive into their soul's purpose and mission on earth,
Yeah.
what their previous experience was, what their perspective has been, what their superpowers are. And we build the business around them as opposed to having them build their lifestyle, build their energy and their body's needs around the business. Because I find overall in the high end, coaching space or like entrepreneurial space, it tends to be backwards. We tend to build ourselves around our businesses when in fact, our businesses need to actually align with who we be and
Yeah.
with our needs, with our energy.
Yeah.
So when I do that, we can actually quantum leap very, very fast
Mm.
without getting to the point of burnout, without getting to the point that I am creating the success, but it just doesn't speak to me, without them coming up with a ton of resistance saying, you know what, I know this has worked for other people, but for whatever reason, I'm just resenting this part of my business and I want nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
So that to me is really alignment, because we are working with the natural flow or like the rhythm of the universe, which is honoring the expansion and then putting the structure around that expansion so
Yeah.
that we can grow more.
Definitely. And it's just that, working from the inside out to really be aligned, when you go outside in, it just, you can't factor the outside into the inside, right?
Right.
It's gotta come from within, um,
Absolutely.
in order for it to really be successful. And I've seen you do it so beautifully. So
Thank
how can
you.
organic marketing help build a sales pipeline when it comes to being for our listeners who want to generate that consistent stream of high paying clients? What does that look like?
So when it comes to marketing, I really like to teach social media content marketing. And what makes it work is that we can actually create magnetic content and then repurpose it for like interviews, podcasts, email campaigns, all of these things, so that we're not constantly creating new content. Basically, what I found out is when we're consistent in our messaging on social media, let's just say Facebook, and where we're consistently generating leads by adding potential audience to our social media, people just get to know who we are and what we do, because we build trust, we build relationships, and we build that emotional resonance. And again, that is not just using the right words, that's more like also combining words with that energetic and embodiment.
Yeah.
So the people that the leads that we generate, not all of them are going to be ready to buy this month, but eventually when we consistently add the right people and broadcast our expressed and consistent content that is created specifically for this group of audience. This is obviously knowing, having that clarity of who we're for, who we're not for, what problem we're best at solving, right? So when that content is tailor made for that group of audience, some of them actually just become our buyers, some
Mm.
become our collaborators, and then some refer their friends to us. So
Definitely.
just from personal experience, this is actually highly effective. It does take, it's not going to work overnight, especially if someone hasn't been doing it consistently, but
Mhm.
it works like a charm, because this is something that I teach clients all the time and I
Yeah.
see it working for them over and over.
Yeah, definitely. And it just keeps you top of mind, right, with that
Yep.
right audience. So
Yep.
there is an underlying belief and mindset that you have to sell more to make more. How do you help your clients overcome this belief? And what are the first key steps that they can take to increase their income while, because people kind of go, oh, my 2-day week. It's like, how do you work 2 days a week and make that income? How would you speak into that?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same belief that you have to hustle and work
Yeah.
harder to make more, which if this isn't checked it can be a recipe for disaster. So I was having a conversation yesterday with a friend who is close to having a seven-figure business, and she works only a few hours a day and takes a lot of time off. I'm talking about like
Mhm.
weeks off at a time. So what I truly believe in is that when we have the right offer, and again, like for me in my work, I place a lot of emphasis on having an aligned high ticket offer and having the right positioning and messaging, because I believe these are two of the components that make or break a business. So
Yeah.
when we have the right offer for
Mm.
the right audience, at the right time, which requires us to have that submarine level of clarity on who these audience are, who these people are, and what makes them want to buy right now. When
Yeah.
all of these are in place, it shouldn't be hard, because when a high ticket offer is designed, it is specifically designed for a specific group of people to help them solve a very specific problem. It's kind of like a bridge that takes them from point A to point B, with point A being the pain, the urgent pain that they're going through right now, and point B being the solution or the relief, right? So when that has been created, and when it's presented at the right time and messaged the right way, I will say that there are not a lot of sales objections, if any, because at the end of the day, when it comes to
Mm.
high ticket offer, it's not really about selling information or coaching. It's about selling that solution. So the first
Absolutely.
step, yeah, it's a solution, and it has to be a solution for a problem that they are experiencing that is keeping them up at night. So
Yes.
the first step is to really shift the belief: I need to work more to make more,
Mhm.
and embody the mindset that I am selling a high level solution to the right people who desperately need the solution right now. So this is the internal work. And externally, it looks like getting that clarity on the audience so that we are only creating the offer and messaging our highest level soulmate clients, and our offer is exactly what they need right now. And then externally, we are working with strategic messaging and positioning in a way that gets their attention, that builds that connection, and really
Mm.
speaks to the highest vision that they're holding right now.
Yeah.
When all of these pieces are done right, I find results can come very, very quickly, because honestly, hustling is not a solution here. At the end of the day, this is about working smarter and not harder.
Absolutely. I mean, you have just given our listeners so many golden nuggets.
Thank
Amazing.
you.
Juliet, you have an awesome gift to share with our audience today. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
So it's going to be a virtual workshop where I offer more clarity on the audience offer and messaging, so that entrepreneurs, especially established entrepreneurs, can get that level of clarity of exactly who they need to be, what they need to create, and how to speak to their highest level clients.
Yeah.
And my intention is just to help more conscious entrepreneurs sell their offers and increase their income, so
Mhm.
that they can actually increase their impact right now. Because I'm going to say that I do not believe it's the politicians that are here to save the world. And I really see that leadership is failing us at this moment. So I
Yeah.
believe the fate of our planet is in the hands of conscious entrepreneurs and business leaders. So my goal is to help them to really, really, really amplify their impact and
Yeah.
take care of themselves at the same time.
That is so amazing and so much value. So the link for the free gift is listed below. So click on the link and it will take you directly to the page where you can download it. And Juliet, before we close, if you're going to leave people with one last piece of advice or actionable step, what would that be?
Um, so so this one has changed from time to time. I'm gonna say that what's really coming through at this stage of my own evolution is to not reject any aspect of who we are when it comes to building a successful business, but
Yes.
to bring the totality of who we are into our success, into our impact and income. Meaning it's not just either or. It's
Yeah.
not just I need to work with strategies, but then I cannot honor my expression and desires. It's not just I'm all about expression and flow and I reject strategy and structure and tactics.
Mm.
It is about training ourselves to say, you know what, I'm not going to choose just one aspect of who I am. I'm not going to choose one thing. I want all of it, and I can choose all of it, and I can have all of it. So I find that when we're operating from the place of that inner wholeness and inner unity, of like that consciousness of always expanding and always kind of like coming from the place of increase, we tend to speak to a higher level of clients, and we tend to speak to their highest vision as opposed to, you know, what they're struggling with right now, or like that part of them that is reluctant to buy. Because our, honestly, owning our highest level and owning our most wholesome self is what draws our highest level clients to us. And that's something that
Yeah.
I've been really like, you know, like kind of like embodying and teaching these days.
So amazing. I couldn't agree more. And it's also like embracing your, I mean, it comes naturally, right, to embrace your strengths, but also that shadow side of your business as well. So
Yeah.
you're really bringing it all into one whole holistic piece of your business. So,
Yep.
so amazing. Thank you so much for coming on today
Thank
and sharing
you.
your wisdom and insights with our audience. It's been so much fun.
Thank you. Yeah, this was great. Thanks a lot for having me here.
You're welcome. And to those of you tuning in, be sure to come back tomorrow for the next masterclass series on skyrocketing your lead generation online. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.